I grew up in a small town in Illinois surrounded by miles of cornfields, flat roads, and skies that felt too big at night. After college, I moved to the city. But a couple months ago, I got an invite to a tech retreat hosted by a company I'd never heard of. They were building neurospatial reconnection software, whatever that means. The invite said they were looking for early adopters, and the payout for just one weekend was almost too good to be true. So I said yes. The retreat was held on this farm just outside of Springfield. Giant white house, silos out back, and of course endless cornfields stretching in every direction. The kind of place where the silence starts to sound like breathing if you listen long enough. There were 8 of us, all strangers, all different ages, races, backgrounds. And the staff were matching silver lanyards with tiny blinking lights on them, red and green. They called it the Echo Project. That night, they sat us down for what they said was a guided neurospatial therapy session. They hooked us up to these thin, translucent headbands, said it would help synchronize emotional memory with spatial cognition. We all laughed. It sounded like expensive mindfulness. But as soon as the headband activated, I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in the same house, but everything felt off. The colors were too bright, the air too still. The others were still there, walking around like nothing happened. Except now, they weren't strangers. They knew me by name. They said we'd grown up together. They talked about things that had never happened, shared birthdays, local sports teams, high school teachers I'd never met. But they said I'd forgotten. And the worst part, the photos in the house showed me in all of them. I pulled one off the wall, me, standing in front of a cornfield, arm around a girl named Sarah. She said she was my sister. She even knew my mom's name, my dog from childhood. But the more I insisted I didn't belong there, the more they looked at me like I was the problem. One of the staff pulled me aside, said the therapy had scrambled my memory, and I was cycling through adjustment denial. He said I'd feel better after the second loop. The next time I woke up, the layout of the house had changed. Slightly. The door to the basement wasn't there anymore. A new barn had appeared out back. Everyone had new clothes. But now I remembered Sarah, the dog, the cornfield parties, the sleepovers with friends I swear I'd never met. And that's when I realized I wasn't just being tricked into remembering something fake. They were rewriting me. Desperation sets in. Every time I closed my eyes, I looped again. Woke up in a slightly different version of the same life. Sometimes the people smiled too much. Sometimes the sky didn't move. Once, I watched the sun rise in the west. I tried to run, took off into the cornfield. But the further I ran, the more the rows seemed to turn themselves. I swear the corn was rearranging itself, guiding me back. I screamed for hours. Nobody came. When I found my way back to the house, there was a new photo on the wall. It was me, collapsed in the field, smiling. Eventually, I found the barn unlocked. Inside was one of the original staff members, the guy with the red lanyard. His headband had fried. His skin was burned, eyes wide open, still hooked into the machine. On the wall behind him, scratched into the wood over and over, were 3 words, "You agreed already." That's when it hit me. This wasn't a retreat. It was an overwrite loop. They weren't helping us rediscover ourselves. They were replacing us, piece by piece, memory by memory, until there's nothing left of who we were, only who they wanted us to be. Now, every time I blink, I feel another piece go. A favorite song I can't recall. My mother's voice, now just static. My hands still write my name, but it feels like I'm forging someone else's signature. And the worst part, this morning, I found a brochure on the kitchen table. It was for a tech retreat, the Echo Project, but it wasn't addressed to me anymore. It was addressed to you. This has been a neural narrative. If you get an invitation to a free weekend in the Midwest, that sounds too good to be true. It is. They're not interested in your opinion. They're interested in your identity. Subscribe before they replace you too.